of Commerce and Industry, Consumer Affairs, Food and Public Distribution, Textiles and leader of the Rajya Sabha. He's also held the portfolio of Minister of Railways, Finance, Corporate Affairs, Coal, Power, New and Renewable Energy and Mines previously. In his tenure as Minister of Commerce and Industry, India has consistently scaled new heights in exports. He led the signing of a free trade agreement with the UAE, the fastest ever negotiated FTA globally, and the India-Australia Economic Cooperation and Trade Agreement, which was India's first agreement with a developed country after a decade. He also oversaw the launch of production-linked incentive schemes to bring manufacturing at the center stage and emphasize its significance in driving growth and creating jobs. As Minister of Consumer Affairs, Food and Public Distribution, he led the implementation of the world's largest food security program, the Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Anna Yojana, by distribution of free food grains to nearly 80 crore people over 2 years, providing support to the poor, vulnerable, weaker sections of society who were affected the most during the COVID-19 pandemic. Please join me in welcoming the Honourable Minister to deliver the keynote address and felicitate our winners this evening.
Thank you very much, Madam. Though I think ministers could do with a little less comments. We need a lot more work to do, so I think you should keep the introduction a little shorter and don't make the people feel that we are looking for that kind of a compliment. We are only doing our job, as is each one of the entrepreneurs sitting in this room. Congratulations to all the winners of the Family Business Awards. Truly a matter of pride and a very fitting endorsement. I went through the list and I do believe a very, very robust process must have gone through, because the list demonstrates businesses which have shown huge passion in their work, businesses who have added tremendous value for their stakeholders, businesses which have been focused on sustainability, as we just heard, businesses which have been conscious of their social obligations, and the list of winners today demonstrate all of these elements. And a big, big congratulations to all the award winners this evening. While of course awards do help give you recognition, they also cast a lot of responsibility on you, because the expectations from the people will only increase. There will be more demand on you. There will be more hope and expectation. But I have no doubt that each of the award winners will do us proud in the years to come. Of course, I also have no doubt that these awards will encourage many more who may have not been selected today, but maybe near about as deserving as the award winners today. And therefore, this should also hopefully be a great source of inspiration for all the other businesses run by eminent families, irrespective of whether they are in the small scale, they are startups, whether they are medium or large scale. I think every business, big or small, is contributing to the great India story that we are all privileged to be a part of. Friends, the Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Modi, has over the last 9 years given a very decisive, strong leadership to India, preparing the framework, preparing the ground, creating all the right fundamentals that we need as a nation to rapidly progress from a developing nation to a developed nation. All of you are well aware of the achievements of the last 9 years. I won't labor at length on those issues, but I would like you to reflect on where we were a decade ago and where we are as we meet at Oberoi this evening. Of course, we all remember that we were one of the fragile five countries, weak economies. It was around the same time in 2013, if my memory is serving me right, that we went in for the FCNRB deposits of $35 billion at very high interest cost, just to shore up the Indian rupee and protect our economy from going down the rapid slide in which we were at that point of time. If you look back, we had used the fiscal deficits very, very indiscriminately at that point of time, not to create assets, but to literally pay our revenue bills as a nation. And therefore, while we lived in a mirage in 2008 or 9 post the Lehman crisis, that India is doing very well, we only landed up putting our neck deeper into the sand, with inflation rates going into double digit, 12-13% inflation becoming the order of the day, thanks to the large fiscal deficits. We had high interest costs, which businesses had to pay for. The exports were almost stagnant. Our foreign currency reserves, as I mentioned, were in a crisis and needed to be shored up with artificially high interest rates, which ultimately was a cost to the people of India. And in summation, the confidence of the world on India and Indian businesses was at the nadir. At that point of time, I remember business people going around the world with an Indian passport were not receiving the kind of respect that a nation of the size and scale and potential that we have in India truly deserves. When we came into government in 2014, there was a lot of suggestions coming from all quarters that we should take out a white paper of the India story as we had inherited in 2014. There was a lot of clamor from well-meaning friends, including from the media, that the world and the people of India should know the real depth of the problem, the seriousness of the economic crisis that the nation was facing. I remember some deliberations within government also at that point of time. But Prime Minister Narendra Modi took a firm stand that there shall not be a white paper, there shall not be any information flow to the rest of the world about what the problems of India are, because he truly believed in governments in continuity. He believed that when we came into government, whatever we had inherited, we would set it right, but we would not expose that to the world, because by exposing that, the situation that was on hand, we would only be weakening our journey towards resolving the problems. In fact, a white paper would have been very good for us politically at that point of time, but would have been at the cost or to the detriment of Indian businesses and the Indian economy. Instead of crying over the situation then, I can say it today because we've crossed the hump. We don't have any fear of that causing any distress. The India story today is completely different from what we had inherited. But at that point of time, should we have cried over the large amount of oil bonds that we inherited and we had to repay at high interest costs? Should we have cried about the foreign exchange crisis or the borrowings at high rates, which were going to be a stress to our government post 2014. If we were going to cry about high inflation rates, high interest rates, if we were going to be talking about the rapidly falling economic growth, if we were going to be talking about the small amount of foreign direct investment or faltering exports, it would have been a big disservice to a nation trying to come out of a crisis and making India relevant in the world economy. Instead of that, all our energies were focused on strengthening the India story. All our efforts were focused on taking the basic needs that this nation needed, that the people of India needed, that businesses in India were craving for, and addressing these problems so that every Indian not only is a proud Indian passport holder, as each one of us are today, not only is every Indian an empowered Indian with all his basic needs met as we are today, not only is the economy in good shape with large foreign exchange reserves, nearly $600 billion today, with a growing economy, the fastest growing large economy in the world, with inflation, despite the little hiccups that we are facing today in a short term, at the macro, a decade of controlled inflation. In fact, I mentioned at an earlier engagement that I had in another program just before this, that and Money Control is known for its research. So I would urge Money Control to research the India story over 75 years. And I dare say, this 9-year period has offered India and all Indians the lowest inflation rate over a 9-year period that we had ever experienced in the past. And the world today recognizes India as the largest opportunity for Indian businesses and for investors around the world. All of this has been possible because of all of you, ladies and gentlemen, who have contributed with ideas, who have contributed with your work, who have contributed in creating economic value, who have worked to create jobs in India, who have worked to bring the best of technologies in India, who have worked to make India digitally empowered, connected with modern infrastructure, who have brought independence to us in terms of our dependence on foreign goods being reduced. And I think it's the collective effort of Indian businesses in a big way that has supplemented the government's own efforts to both to take welfare to the people of India, to empower the people of India, and to create the ecosystem that is the basic need, the basic fundamental on which India aspires to become a developed nation by 2047. In fact, I just mentioned to colleagues from Money Control before I came in that this is a 30-30-30, a 30 by 30 by 30 journey that we are all privileged to be a part of. India today is enjoying the fruits of our demographic dividend, an average population which is under 30. All estimates seem to suggest that for the next 30 years, we'll continue to be a young population, below 30. And in this next 30 years, at the very least, we see the Indian economy growing from $3.5 trillion to a $35 trillion economy, adding over $30 trillion to our GDP. And friends, we have very eminent business persons here. Imagine a growth story from 3.5 trillion to 30 trillion or 35 trillion is the world's largest business opportunity that history has ever seen. There is no other comparable story with this kind of a delta of opportunity, with this kind of a growth journey that we have embarked upon and which is eminently doable. I've done my maths, I've done all the modeling, I as in the government of India has done all the various scenario planning, the modeling, and every indicator, and the actions taken towards this journey give us the courage of conviction to be able to say that this is going to happen, that this is the path that India is going to traverse over the next 25, 30 years. And friends, Indian family-owned businesses are the bulwark of this success story. India has traditionally been known to have entrepreneurs of great eminence, of great capability, of great understanding for generations and centuries. I mean, for that matter, if one was to go back in history even to the period of Maharaja Agrasen or to Samrat Ashok, businesses in India, entrepreneurship in India was recognized and respected centuries ago. Maharaja Agrasen had started with the philosophy that anybody who came into his kingdom from outside, A, he would welcome with open arms, B, he would have the entire population or the people in that village or the town contribute 1 rupee, big amount at that point of time, and 1 brick to this new family to help him stand up in life. That brick would help him make his home. That 1 rupee would help him start out in his life, maybe with a big or small business, as an entrepreneur with some work, hold him in good stead in the initial period, often difficult period. But ultimately, he created a world full of entrepreneurs who have spread out across the length and breadth of India and the world, who are today making India proud. And I say this only as a concept because, in a manner of speaking, that's precisely what this government has attempted to do over the last 9 years. If you look at the various welfare measures, some of which were just recounted before I came, India today provided nearly 40 million families with a free home. India ensured that every single household, every single farmer in the country gets an electricity connection either in his home or his farm. Prime Minister Modi was very focused that we have to ensure health care for everybody in the country. And we launched much before COVID the Ayushman Bharat Yojana, by which today nearly 600 million people are eligible for free health care. 600 million is not a small number. Obamacare could not handle a few million and collapsed. We are looking after 600 million people's healthcare needs. During COVID and now post-COVID too, 800 million people are getting free food grains. Of course, during COVID it was doubled up to ensure that even in difficult times, nobody goes hungry. And we can proudly say the country today does not have a single starvation death in such a vast country, such a vast population. And I can keep recounting many programs. Digital connectivity to the length and breadth of India. 4G, much smarter, much more efficient than the most developed nations have. Now 5G going to nearly 125 cities in the next 12 months, ultimately going across the country. My favorite, and something I believe was the need of the hour 75 years ago, but government after government failed to meet a basic need of every Indian. The over 120 million toilets that were made over the last few years, so that no child in this country, no girl, no sister, no daughter, no mother ever had to go to the field or face the indignity of not having a toilet at home. Basic need. Of course, some of our political opponents were very disdainful when Prime Minister Modi talked about Swachh Bharat or an open defecation-free Bharat from the ramparts of the Red Fort in his very first address in 2014. But wherever in the world anybody asks me what is the most important program of this government, it's not the large amount of FDI we got, it's not the massive 55% growth in exports between 21 and 23. It's not necessarily all the various programs to take water connections to every single home, electricity, cooking gas, homes for every poor family in the country. I believe giving our girl child sanitary pads at 1 rupee and a free toilet in every single home in this country has been the biggest game changer when it comes to social welfare and empowerment of our people. And to all the business persons here, today we have a set of people, young boys and girls, whose basic needs having been taken care of, digitally connected through television and internet to the rest of the world, full of aspiration, full of drive, fire in the belly, wanting to do more, wanting to contribute more, wanting to work hard, desirous of achievement, desirous of the good things of life. Show me any other part of the world where more and more women coming into the workforce like we have in India will sell more washing machines or dishwashers than India will in the next 10 or 15 years. There's no other place in the world. Show me any other country where the auto industry is going to grow faster than India, given the huge aspiration. Our two-wheelers wanting to transit to an electric two-wheeler, then to a four-wheeler passenger vehicle, SUVs. Everybody is aspirational. We just saw the report that came out a couple of days ago talking about the growing middle class. And with the purchasing power parity being what it is in India, for all my friends running family businesses, this is our time under the sun. This is our time to grow. This is our time to invest. This is our time to expand. This is our time to support each other so that we can collectively become an empowered nation, a nation which cares for each other, which cares for 140 crore Indians, creates value, but also looks after social growth and inclusive growth, which creates value for shareholders, but also is equally focused on sustainability. And therefore, let's not let any opportunity go by. We can invite investment, we can invite technology, but ultimately, it's each one of you the Indian businessman, the Indian entrepreneur, our Indian startups who are going to lead this journey in the next 30 years to make India a $35 trillion economy where every family is sporting a $20,000 per capita income. Every person is having a $20,000 per capita income, where every family is contributing to India's growth story. And it is this journey where I have the confidence that our family-run businesses are going to make all the difference. You have it in you. You have competent managements. Your children are doing us proud. And I'm sure in the years ahead, we are all going to collectively make India, as the Onida ad had said, owner's pride, neighbor's envy. I just got the Money Control publication here. Optimism is in the air and spirits are high. There is a spring in the step, a newfound confidence in India. Thank you, Money Control, for your support to this optimism. I am an optimist. I believe each one of you is equally optimistic, equally confident, equally ready and willing to fulfill your duties to make India the global superpower, make India amongst the top 3 economies of the world, and ensure that every Indian has a better future. Our generations ahead will remember this generation as the people who created the India story. Congratulations to all of you. Thank you.
A huge round of applause for the Minister for that very energizing and motivating address. I'm sure it'll motivate all of us to double down on the India story. And as the Minister said, Money Control is very bullish on India. In fact, we have a campaign going on called MC Bullish on India, where we've documented every aspect of India's rise. May I welcome the Minister back on stage to felicitate the winners this evening, the moment we've all been waiting for this evening. Let's kick it off then with the winners in the super category.
In the category of super, annual turnover up to 2,000 crore rupees.
And the first winner is?
In the category of super, most innovative, disruptive and transformative, the winner is Tega Industries Limited.
Please welcome on stage Mehul Mohanka, MD and Group CEO, Tega Industries. We can do with better applause. These people are the lifeblood, the pride of our country, the family businesses. Congratulations, sir. Let's take a look at our next winner.
In the category of super, best governance, the winner is Apcotex Industries Limited.
And to collect the award, we have Abhirat Choksi, MD, Apcotex Industries. Can we look at our next winner in the category?
In the category of super, best family business, the winner is Borosil Limited.
Please welcome on stage Shrivar Kheruka, Managing Director, Borosil Limited. Huge round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Moving on to the mega category.
In the category of mega, annual turnover between 2,000 and 4,000 crore rupees.
And can we look at our first winner, please?
In the category of Mega, Most Innovative, Disruptive and Transformational, the winner is Century Plyboards India Limited.
Please welcome on stage Mr. Prem Bhajanka, Executive Director, Century Plyboards. Is Mr. Prem Bhajanka here? Okay, we'll wait for him. Let's move on to the next category, please. The next award, the Best Governance Award.
In the category of Mega, Best Governance, the winner is Route Mobile Limited.
Please welcome on stage Sandeep Gupta, the Chairman and Director at Route Mobile Limited. And time for our next winner.
In the category of Mega, Best Business led by a woman, Jury Select, the winner is TVS Sri Chakra Limited.
Please welcome Ms. Shai Mutana, COO, TVS Supply Chain Solutions. Looks like there are many members of the TVS family in the house today. I believe Mr. Prem Bhajanka is back. So, sir, if you can come to collect your award. Can we have Mr. Prem Bhajanka's award, please? And the final winner in this category, the Best Family Business.
In the category of Mega Best Family Business, the winner is Minda Corporation Limited.
Please welcome Mr. Ashok Minda, Chairman, Akash Minda, Executive Director, and Kanika Minda on stage, please. With that, we move on to the Giga category.
In the category of Giga, annual turnover over 4,000 crore rupees.
And let's take a look at the first winner.
In the category of Giga, Most Innovative, Disruptive and Transformational, Jury Select, the winner is Travels India Limited.
Please welcome Anil Rai Gupta, the Chairman and Managing Director, as well as Amit Kumar Gupta, the Director. Havells has become a household name. A huge round of applause to both of them. Let's take a look at our next winner.
In the category of Giga, Best Business led by a woman, the winner is Thermax Limited.
And to collect the award on behalf of Thermax, may I please welcome Mr. Jasmeet Bhatia, Executive President and CHRO. Now time for the Best Family Business in the Giga category.
In the category of Giga, Best Family Business, the winner is Muthoot Finance Limited.
Please welcome Shri Alexander George Muthoot, Joint Managing Director, Muthoot Group, a household name not just in Kerala but the whole of India. A huge round of applause. With that, we move on to our next category, philanthropy.
In the category of Philanthropy,
And the winner is?
in the category of Philanthropy, the winner is Dholakia Foundation.
Please welcome on stage Tulsi Dholakia, Director, and Pintu Dholakia, CEO. Let's keep the applause going for all our winners. Such an honor to get the award from the Union Commerce Minister. With that, we move on to the next one, the Jury Special Award.
Special recognition by the jury.
And the winner is?
A special recognition by the jury for motion building business goes to Gujarat Tea Processors and Packers Limited.
Please welcome on stage Mr. Rasesh Desai, Managing Director, Paras Desai, Executive Director, and Parag Desai, Executive Director. With that, we come to the final category of winners. Mr. Goyal, it is remarkable how you seem to have a personal connect with each of the winners today.
I know almost all. There was not a single winner here.
That's great to hear. A huge round of applause for everyone. No, not at all. I can assure you our jury members are sitting right here. But we now come to the final category of winners, editorial recognitions.
Editorial recognitions.
And the first winner in this category
Editorial recognition for woman business leader
goes to
the award for woman business leader goes to Roshni Nagapalur, ex-military.
a bigger round of applause, please. The next category,
Editorial recognition for next gen leader
and the winner is
the award for next gen leader goes to Sudarshan Venu, TVS Motor Company Limited.
In fact, we have Sudarshan's parents, Mr. Venu Srinivasan, Mallika Srinivasan. It'll be great if you can come up on stage for a photograph with him. Tara, if you can join him as well.
I'd like to share with you about Mallika Srinivasan. All of us have done well in life, we've achieved so many things. On the clarion call of the Prime Minister that we should also contribute to government. We should also contribute, once the children take over, we should give some time to help government do good for the country. And since Sudarshan has ably taken over the business, Venu Srinivasan has completely devoted his life to the upliftment of villages in Tamil Nadu. But many of us do that. What Malika Srinivasan has done is unique. She has agreed at the request of the Honorable Prime Minister to head the Public Enterprises Selection Board, devotes her full time. In the midst of COVID, she took up this responsibility so that we can have better management talent, better management teams running our public sector undertakings, which ultimately contribute a lot to your businesses also. So I think that's a great contribution to India's growth story.
You know, Gen Zs talk about the FIRE movement, financially independent, retire early. And here we have stalwarts who work and work and work and believe in giving back, not just to their business, but to the country, but to the society. A huge round of applause for Mr. Venu Srinivasan and Malika Srinivasan. You're a huge inspiration to all of us. And with that, well, we've saved the best for last. Let's look at our final winner this evening.
Editorial recognition for Lifetime Achievement Award.
And the winner is...
The honor of the Lifetime Achievement Award goes to Dilip Sanghi, Sun Pharmaceutical Industries Limited.
A huge round of applause for the one and only Mr. Dilip Sanghi. I believe Mr. Dilip Sanghi's son is also here. If you can come up on stage, please. Mr. Alok Sanghi. That's a great moment. Mr. Sanghi, it's very, very hard to pin you down, so I'm going to request you to please give us a small acceptance speech.
So, thank you, Money Control editors and the jury for bestowing this recognition on me. And also, I think it's appropriate that we are focused on family-run businesses because the country and the key employment generator in the country is entrepreneurially run private businesses. It's a special privilege for me to get it from Piyush Bhai. Piyush Bhai, I think, has been a role model for me, and it never ceases to amaze me whenever I see my 18 hours of work day ability to grasp complex issues, and not only of pharma but all industries that I have seen him interact with. And I saw his interaction with everybody. So kind of personal relationship that he has built. But in spite of that hectic schedule, so much of traveling, I think he has time for everybody and he has ability to give guidance and advice. So thank you for this recognition.